Oh, I made them mad. Look at that. Whoa. Flying across my face. Hey guys, so behind me I have this beautiful limelight hydrangea standard. Now it didn't always look this way. Earlier this month we had a tropical storm that came through here from the hurricane down in Florida, and unfortunately this guy basically looked like an umbrella. Now we had a lot of requests on Instagram and Facebook from people that had similar problems with heavy rains and winds with their hydrangeas basically flopping over. Now this is a standard, so it's a little bit easier to do it the way I did it, but I'm going to show you guys today how to basically prop them up with just some bamboo, some twine, and a pair of scissors. I'll zoom in a little bit so you guys can see exactly how I did it on this one. You can't really see the twine, so it absolutely works great. Another thing I want to do is I want to take you guys over to the front because I have one that's in the ground that I want to prop up so you guys can see the method that I use there to be able to get that guy to prop up and look nice in the landscape as well. Okay, so yesterday it rained, so I wasn't able to do it on the same video, but as you can see, I'm still wearing the same shirt. The reason for that is you want to use a long sleeve shirt so you can mess with these hydrangeas, because as you can see, and I'll show this a little bit closer, you get a nice little rash from the hydrangeas, and it's not pleasant, but you do want to use a long sleeve shirt. That's something I do advise, especially if you have very sensitive skin. It's going to be an issue for you because, again, I'm going to show this, and it looks pretty bad, but anyways, let's get started with this. I'm going to show you guys exactly what I'm doing. All I'm doing is I'm getting one bamboo stick. Now you can use a different method for macrophylla hydrangeas using the 3 bamboo method. So you can pretty much wrap that guy around. It's a little bit of it's a softer wood than it is for a paniculata. Now this is hardwood, so it's a little bit easier to manipulate just with one bamboo stick, because once you grab one branch, you can pretty much pull them all back. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get the first bamboo stick here, and I'm just gonna go about a foot behind the hydrangea and just put it down as far as I can go. That way it's in there deep enough so you can pretty much use it, and it has a pretty good anchor to pull these hydrangea stems back. Now if you can't get it all the way in, you do have some of it sticking up a little bit higher, you can always just prune that area back, but you probably wouldn't even be able to notice that. So to begin with, what I want to do is I want to get these that are farther back, and I want this guy to just basically come back the way it needs to go to be able to have that bush-like effect towards the back. So what I'm going to do is just cut a little bit of string here. I'm going to tie it to the bamboo. It doesn't take much, maybe 1 or 2 knots. The hydrangea is not that strong to where it's going to pull it off of there. But again, I'm just going to find the first stem that I want to pull back and just basically pull it back to where I want it, which seems good about right there. And you want to tie it back to the bamboo stick. Now you don't want to tie too tight on the actual stem, because then you start to rub the outer layer of the bark there. And it could be susceptible to any diseases or ants or beetles or anything that's basically just going to want to eat up that hydrangea. Then I'm going to do the same thing all the way around. Just grab my biggest stems and just start pulling back. Measure out about how much string I actually need and just start tying from there. All right, now as you go along, rather than grabbing an individual stem, you want to find the thickest part. Usually when you tie onto that thickest part, just like I'm doing here, I'm pulling back, you can see that come up a little bit. It's going to be more easier than to just tie off to a stem where it's easily going to be able to break it or anything like that. Now what you can do also, so you don't have string going everywhere, just grab one of the main thickest stems that's going to be able to hold up another part of the hydrangea. That way you don't have strings going all over the place. Just like this one here is holding up about 2 or 3 different stems. That's going to make it look a lot better. As you can see, it's already taking a nice shape. I'll show it before and after what it actually looks like prior to, with the other 2 already propped, and then this one Floppy before I started, and you can tell there's a really big difference. And then because I have all kinds of plants back here, you need to be careful what you're working with, not to break anything that's tangled up in there. We have this potato vine that's just going everywhere, so you got to kind of maneuver it and mess with it a little bit just so you're not breaking stuff or tearing things out of the ground. And one thing I am noticing though is because this hydrangea here gets a lot more sun throughout the day than the other two. Now they all get a good amount of sun, but because we have the tree that's right in front of the camera there, it kind of blocks this one out just a little bit, so I can tell that these stems over here are a little bit thicker and a little bit more sturdier. But you know, nevertheless, the rain still caused them to kind of flop over. So I do notice that some of these stems are a little bit thicker. So those of you that have thicker hydrangea stems it's gonna be a little bit easier for you to do this and manipulate the stems the way you want to. All right guys, so there you have it, a real quick and easy way to prop up your hydrangeas. Now what I did was, if you see that your shrub is pulling away a little bit from the bamboo, you can actually get on that bamboo stick and push it down a little bit further, and it's going to prop it right back up and give it a more shrub-like appearance. Now I use some green string over here. You can also use some brown string as well. I found that the brown twine actually works perfect for the standards because it has a lot of branching and it kind of blends into it perfectly. The green absolutely looks well in the landscape because you can't really even see it at all. It blends in just perfectly. But as you can see, the big difference from here, these guys look a whole lot better than when we started. The plants underneath can actually breathe now, and we can actually see what's going on. As far as watering too, because that's one thing we do want to monitor, is to make sure that everything's getting equal amounts of water, and we couldn't really tell too much with the hydrangeas flopping like that. Wasn't really the case because obviously the plants are growing, they just look spectacular. But that's going to do it for the video, guys. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you guys in the next one.